Ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard. This is my channel, and we're going to talk about putting things down. I know, it's strange, but yeah. I'm going to have me a drink so that I can use up my supply of alcohol here. Now, I have a blog where I review many things, alcohol being one of them. And so, if I don't use up my alcohol, I can't buy more alcohol to review. And further, more justifies it as a tax write-off if I use it in these videos. But before I get any further, let me remind you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as comment, like, and subscribe, you'll be doing your part for a better world. Now, I was talking to one Ryan Macbeth. Well, emailing? Typing at a one Ryan Macbeth, and we were talking about logistics. And I mentioned that in the Roman times, a Roman soldier carried an 80-pound pack, and an American soldier carries an 80-pound pack. And Ryan retorted with, and 50 pounds worth of armor. Or maybe it was 50 pounds worth of other gear. I don't recall exactly. And my response to that was, we carry a lot of things in life, and the hardest thing to put down is in your head. What we carry in our head. The hardest thing to put down is what we carry in our heads. Okay? Or the hardest thing to put down is what you carry in your head. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that, we all kind of have those things floating around in our head, and we can't leave them. I can tell you something. I had a falling out with my family. This was 2006, I believe. Was this thing about, I wanted money for college. They gave me this beat-up old car. And it was in good running order, relatively so, but it was really it had been in a couple of accidents, so that, when I drove it down the street, or I arrived at a job interview one day, and somebody asked me if I had a drinking problem because they saw the state of my car. Another person was like, I could show you how to parallel park. It's like, I didn't do that to this car. My old man did that to this car, and he never got it fixed. And then I was like, he gave it to you? What a jerk. So, and that the issue then being was that, one, I wanted money for college, not a car, and they kept trying to use this car as leverage against me. Like, we gave you that car, now you got to do this. We gave you that car, now you got to do that. This all came to a head when I was asked to give up my share of my home. Okay, I own 1/3 of a paid-for house in Southern California. At the time, this was worth about $200,000. And I was expected to give that up for the car, So I returned the car. I said, that's it. You keep this piece of garbage. This car was eventually sold for $400. So I can say that, I do not regret returning that vehicle. Returning that vehicle is exactly what I should have done. But, I got a call from my old man later, and he was furious. He was screaming at me about this stupid car before he sold it. And that conversation has never left me. I've never been able to put that down. It's like, the man has passed away. There's no having a conversation with him But every now and again, it just creeps back into my head. Whenever I'm frustrated, I remember, that conversation, and I think of what I should have said to him. And one of the things we do as human beings is we return to our pain. We return to our grief. We return to the moments in which we should have behaved differently or we wish we could behave differently. And there's a good biological reason for that. When Sticky the Caveman was running around and, he lost a brother to Saber-Toothed Tiger, sitting there going, next time I fight Saber-Toothed Tiger, what am I going to do? All right? We as human beings are designed to deal with simple scenarios. Sticky the Caveman did not have to deal with, I need money for college. Why are you not giving me money for college? You gave money for college to my siblings. Sticky the Caveman did not have to deal with that. And if you look at humanity, now, history exists only in the context of the written word, right? Everything before the written word is prehistoric. It is not history, it is prehistory. So the prehistory of man stems so far back in time that we need to realize we were Sticky the Caveman a lot longer than we are modern society. And Sticky the Caveman, well, he probably survived better if you looked at the bad things that happened to him and said, how do I do it better next time? Sticky the Caveman probably didn't have a lot of situations where this is only going to happen once in his lifetime. I mean, there weren't the complicated things that happened. It's like, the other tribe comes and they kill a bunch of your men and they take your women. Okay, well, that's going to happen again. Probably happens every year. Every time they need women, they come and get you. So maybe if it doesn't happen every year, maybe it happens every 5 years. Maybe it happens whenever they have a male who needs a wife. But it happens. So it makes sense for you to spend the rest of your life saying, how do I prevent these people from killing my brothers and taking my sisters? That's human nature. But the problem there being is now in the modern day, how do I address this thing that happened once and will never happen again? Well, I should just let it go because you know what? I'm not going to be offered anything else. As I say, the man is dead. He's not giving me anything. And I can tell you, I'm still fighting in court over his estate. They said, okay, you wouldn't accept this piece of crap car and give us what we wanted for it, then you get nothing. You need to accept what we give you and pay us what we want for it. And there was only one reasonable response to that, which is to end the relationship, to never talk to these people again. Now, if they came up and said, look, we know we hurt you and we want to make good, I would listen to that conversation. But they don't want to make good. They just want to hurt me again, or at least steal whatever I have left. Got to use this stuff up. And, how do I prevent that? Well, you just got to basically build a wall. But everything else, every other thought you have, if only I had said this or if only I had said that, that's all irrelevant. It's all academic. It's all just a discussion you have in your head. And I mean, there are times in my life that in order to resolve a situation favorably, I needed to come up with a perfect statement. You know, I had someone I thought was my friend, and they would do this genie's promise sort of thing. If you look at media, a genie or a jinn, you say, I want $1 million. It's from the movie Wishmaster. Guy says, I want $1 million, and he says, done. And what happens? Well, his mother goes on a plane trip, and she signs a policy worth $1 million made out to her son. So yeah, you got $1 million, but you lost your mother in the process. What happens there? In the same, maybe it was a different member of the franchise. Guy says, I'd love to have a party that people talk about for generations. So at the party, all kinds of terrible things happen so that, no one will ever stop talking about it. It's the genie's promise, fulfill what you asked for, but not what you want. The letter of your request, not the spirit of your request. So, I mean, one of the things this particular fellow said, it's like he would get my name wrong intentionally. He called me by a nickname that I never really had, but he just, gave that to me, and everybody thought that was my name. He called me Rick, and, I mean, I go by Richard for a reason. The reason is that when I was in junior high school, they changed my name on my transcripts to Ricky, which was my childhood name, and I honestly thought my real name was Ricky. No one had ever called me Richard. I didn't know that this was a nickname. I thought it was my actual name. I was taught to write Ricky on my papers. So, if this is your nickname, you shouldn't be writing that. You should be writing your real name. That's how that works. And even today, there are people that still think of me as Ricky. And I tell you, it's been more than 20 years since I've been going by Richard. What's wrong with you? But there's that thing. So, when I said, we had a falling out, and, I said, well, you would need to tell the truth. And he said, yes, well, when I called him by that name, I should have taken him at face value when he asked me to stop. Okay? This is not a lie. He should have taken me at face value. And I should have been wearing pants. But I was wearing pants, and he did take me at face value. I know he took me at face value because he kept saying this was not a joke. He really expected to call me by this annoying nickname for the duration of my life, as well as do another of extremely bad things to me, which he refused to admit to. See, he didn't say anything that was a lie, okay, but he just didn't say the expanse of all relevant material. I mean, if you say, I want you to tell the truth, and you say, okay, a blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as an elephant. That's the truth. It's not relevant to the conversation. That's another thing that I've had trouble putting down, is that relationship. And I mean, there were people who wanted me to forgive this man, and there were people who wanted me to leave and never come back. The problem was that, in order for me to forgive him, it would have to be in my best interest. And it never was. But I gotta let that go. I gotta let that go because even if I ran into him today, there'd be no getting him to tell the truth. And even if I did get him to tell the truth, this was nigh 15 years ago now, I think. Not quite. No, 15 years ago almost exactly. As I filmed this. And you know what? There's no way to get those 15 years back. So the things we carry with us in our heads are the hardest things for us to put down. And we need to put them down. We need to move on. We need to live our lives. Because where it is okay to visit the past, it's not okay to try to live there. It's fine to watch your favorite movie every now and again. But if you watch it all the time, you can't watch anything new. And you don't get to discover all the things that are out there. So, yeah. The hardest things to put down are the things we carry in our heads. Remember that. I'm Richard.
Danger Ducky says, this is your magic moment. A moment for you to do something that is good for the world. You can comment, like, and subscribe, because for every 1,000 subscribers this channel gets, they will buy one of these bracelets I am wearing. Each one of these bracelets I am wearing means that one pound of trash will be removed from the ocean. Cleaning the ocean is an expensive thing to do, and we need your help, so don't be trash. Comment, like, and subscribe, and get trash out of the ocean.